Good day, everyone. It's our group 9, and we are reporting year number 2015-84, June 15, 2015, people of the Philippines, Plainfield, Apili, B. Apolinario, Totong Abila, Y. Alicante, accused appellant. Decision. We resolve this decision, the appeal from the September 13, 2011, decision of the Court of Appeals, CA, in CA GR CH CRHC number 04311. The CA sustained the September 9, 2009 decision of the Regional Trial Court or RTC Branch 219 of Quezon City, which found Apolonio Todong Abila, accused appellant, guilty beyond reasonable doubt of murder and imposed on him the penalty of reclusion perpetua. Facts of the case. That on or about 20 day of October 2002 in Quezon City, Philippines, the said accused conspiring, deferating with another person whose true name, identity, whereabout has not yet been ascertained and mutually help each other with intent to kill, qualified by evident premeditation and treachery and taking advantage of superior strength, did and then were willfully, unlawfully, and felonious attack, assault, and employ personal violence upon the person of one and employ person with one John Joy Vasquez Y. Daganato by then and the shooting her with a gun, hitting her on the head and stomach, the inflicting upon serious and mortal wounds, which were the direct immediate cause of her ultimate death, to the damage and prejudice of the heirs of said John Joy Vasquez Daganato.
Version of prosecution. So, sa version of prosecution, nasabi dito na noong October 20, 2002, bandang 7:30 ng gabi, umuwi ang nakababatang kapatid ng biktima na si Ryan Vasquez matapos humiram ng gitara. Si Ryan ay nasa taas ng kanilang hagdanan patungo sa kanilang bahay nang makita niya si Totong at isa pang lalaki na matagal na sumisilip sa kanilang bahay. Dahil sa takot ng bata, nagtago ito upang di makita ng mga lalaki. Habang nagtatago si Ryan, nakita niya na pinaputok ni Totong ang unang barel. Tumama ito sa bandang kanan ng kanyang ate. Tapos, sinipa ni Totong ang pintuan at agad pinutok sa ulo ng biktima ang barel. Pagkatapos maputok ng barel, agad na umalis ang dalawang lalaki. Nakita ni Ryan ang kanyang ate na duguan. Agad siyang humingi ng tulong sa ate Milda at Kuya Ricky nito. At ang biktima ay agad na dinala sa hospital. Ayon naman sa tita at kapitbahay ng biktima nito, sila din ay nagbigay ng kanilang statement. So, ayon kay Brian Hermano, 19 years old at kapitbahay ng biktima, sinasabi nito na nasa pagitan ng ikapito at ikawalo ng gabi nang siya ay nasa basketball court. Nang marinig niya ang usapan ni Totong at ang isang lalaking nangangalang Bong Muslim na ang usapan ay tungkol sa pagpatay nila kay Rosvic Vasquez. Ngunit sa kasamaang palad, bago kabalaan ni Brian Hermano si Rosvic, nalaman niya na lamang na si John Joy ay binaril na. Ayon naman sa tiyahin ng biktima, dakong 7 at 7:30 ng gabi, nang makarinig siya ng putok ng baril, agad siyang lumabas at nakita niya ang akusado na dumaan sa pagitan ng bahay ng biktima at ang bahay nito. Sinasabi ng tiyahin ng biktima na walang ibang taong dumaan doon kundi si Totong at ang kasama nito. So, dito din, pinakita din ng tatay ng biktima na si Rovic Vasquez yung mga nagastos niya sa pagpapalibing kay John Joy Vasquez. Ito, yung expenses niya is nag-a-amount ng 60,000 and yung sa mga pagkain at sa mga inumin naman ay nag-a-amount ng 8,400. So, yung pinaka-total niya lahat is 113,412 pesos.
Dito naman sa version of defense, sa pagitan ng 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock ng umaga, no, October 20, Antonio Avila was inside the room which is rented the same day. Umupa daw, si Avila daw, nasa room niya daw, inuupahan niya ng para sa araw na yun. Tapos sa Freedom Park of Batasan in Quezon City, habang natutulog siya, may narinig siyang kumatok sa pintuan niya. Tapos may pumasok na pilit na pumasok doon sa pumasok. Tapos inintroduce yung mga sarili dun sa barangay official, father. Iba daw si Totong Avila. Tapos, in-inform siya na na siya daw suspect sa nandun sa place under lower part of Batasan inibita siya sa police station, without being presented the warrant of arrest. Tapos, upon arrival, they waited for Rovic Vasquez, the private complainant in the case. Yung oras na yon, ni-required siya na required siya na bigyan ng statement na with a sign waiver or with complainant RIB dinala siya sa Kaparingal. Tapos dun siya kinulong na hindi niya nalalaman. Tapos doon siya dinites subjected to inquest proceeding only 3 days, October 23. Tapos that he was only renting a room of Freedom Park. Tapos he was a resident of Santiago, Caloocan City. Kinonfirm niya na yung complainant na was kababayan, but dininay niya na she's knowing the Totong police and boy and Muslim. Tapos yung akusado naman, senior witness of the defense on a cross-examination, he testified that Rovic Vasquez, father victim, was friend of kababayan. Tapos kinilaim niya na si Rovic Vasquez daw yung long time he was arrested, and he also claimed that he only moved to Freedom Park o Batasan City because the complainant invited him. Inimbita. Tapos sa place na yon with accused more convenient or accused o appellant. Tapos innocent testified niya na na wala daw weapon dun sa pinagkaanuang conducted nila. Tapos sinuli siya na whether of course subjected to BFR
reads. So, ito nga po, nagkaroon ng trial court at nagkaroon ng nagkaroon siya ng binigyan siya ng trial court ng reclusion perpetua at nagkaroon ng 113,412 pesos and 18 centavos ang damage at 50,000 as civil indemnity for death para sa pagkamatay nung tao na pinatay ni Tapos, wherefore finding the accused Apolonio of Avila Y. Elecante guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the crime murdered, the accused likewise ordered to pay the heirs of Joy Vasquez E. Daganato the total amount of 213,412 pesos and 18 centavos. So ayun nga po nagkaroon sila ng pag-uusap ng regional trial court na kailangan bayaran ni Apolonio Avila yung damage hindi lang dun sa pagkamatay ni Joy Vasquez, kundi magkaroon man lang ng damage civil liability na 213,412 and 18 centavos sa civil liability para sa kanyang pagkakasala.
Pinipilit ng akusado na si Ryan Vasquez o yung nakakabatang kapatid ng biktima na di naman niya talaga nakita ang pangyayari at dahil galing ito sa isang tindahan at nakita na lamang niya ang kanyang kapatid na babae na duguan. Ngayon, inaano pa rin na dinidiin pa rin ng akusado na yung bata ay tinuruan lamang ng kanyang nanay na magsalita laban sa kanya at tinuruan lamang ng mga sasabihin niya.
Nagkaroon ng ruling of the Court of Appeals. the CA found the merit of the accused appellant's arguments. The CA held the contrary to Avila's contention. The testimony of the witness, Ryan Vasquez, was reasonably consistent in despite of this young age. So nagkaroon dito ng ano no, sa Court of Appeals naman tinatanggap yung mga testimonya ng bata. Kasi pinapalabas ng mga sa Court of Appeals pinapalabas na mas nagsasabi ng totoo yung mga bata kaysa dun sa mga nakakatanda.
The CA observed the questions were all answerable by yes, and that it is only but natural the child witness answer in the affirmative. So, yun na nga, ang napuna lang dito ng defense o accused ng appellant na baka lang daw tinuturuan siya ng tatay niya. So, kaya parang yung sagot ng bata is puro yes lang. Pero, the witness managed to clarify his early statement during the redirect examination. So, ibig sabihin, ni-redirect examination nila yung bata para mas lalong malaman yung totoo. So, yun na nga. The witness also cooperated hesitantly when he was presented with the picture of the crime. Not only did he identify the pictures, he also described them in a particular where he hid at the time of the shooting, how he could out a salient from where he stood, and how the accused and his companion were positioned shortly before committing crime. So yun nga, kinuwento niya lahat ng ginawa niya noong ginagawa nila Totong nung suspect yung crime na yun habang pinapatay siya. So the CA maintained that there is nothing in the testimony that may be considered irrevocably law. It is not uncommon during the trial that witness omit certain details, sometimes inadvertently in narration, and the process commit inconsistency more than anyone. A 9-year-old child is despicable to this. So yun na nga, yung CA na puna nila na minsan lang sa isang bata na ganun nga, na mag-describe lahat ng nakita niya, lahat ng nakita niya doon sa crime na yon. So next.
Taga lang. Dagdag ko lang din na diba sasabi niya na puro yes. Nagtataka yung CA bakit puro yes ang sinasabi niya. Pagdating nung pinakita nila yung mga pictures, lalo yung suspect sa crime scene, nagulat na ngayon ng CA sa mga sinagot ng bata. Halos describe niya mula kung ano yung pangyayari, ano yung crime scene na describe niya. Halos lahat ng ini-expect nila sa nangyari, describe ng bata. Sa only 9 years old lamang.
So,
Next.
ayun na nga, no? Nagkaroon yung scene ng observation. Tapos, nurse yung bata. Eh di anong nangyari ngayon? Kasi ang CA hindi na naniniwala sa mga sabi-sabi lang. Tapos ang CA ay nagkaroon ng investigation do sa bata at tinanong yung bata. So ang sabi ng bata is yes. So ibig sabihin ang nangyari nun, ang bata hindi nagsasabi ng mali, kundi nagsasabi siya ng totoo. Dahil kung ano yung nakita niya, ayun yung sinasabi niya dun sa CA. Yun yung sinasabi niya.
The CA affirmed the decision of the RTC and denied the appeal. The dispositive portion of the decision reads, wherefore, premises considers the appeal is hereby dismissed for lack of merit. Accordingly, the sale decision of the RTC of Quezon City Branch 219 dated September 9, 2009 is affirmed in toto.
So, ruling of the Supreme Court. The defense of the denial cannot be given more weight over the witness positive identification. Ayun nga, yung naka-highlight yung the defense denial cannot be more weight the witness positively identification. So yun nga no, nagkakaroon tayo ng ano diyan. Doon nga sinasabi na meron tayong witness tapos positively identification. So ibig sabihin yung ano natin, yung witness natin is affirmative na sinasabi na nakita niya yung pangyayari na naganap at yung nangyari dun sa kapatid na pinatay nung ni Toto. So nagkaroon ng dalawang suspect at nagkaroon ng kasi appropriately did not give credence to the accused appellant's defense to alibi and denial. So hindi naniniwala yung CA, Court of Appeals na dun sa denial ni Toto. Ang pinaniwalaan nila is dun sa mga witnesses and dun sa mga evidence na nakalap nila. Because the Supreme Court used to identify Toto as the first kung siya yung pumatay doon sa babae na inconsistencies in the testimony with respect to the minor details may be disregarded without impairing witness credibility. As a consistently ruled by the court, as the testimony children of sound mind is likely to be more correct and truthful than the older persons. Yun na nga, yung sinasabi natin kanina. Bali, ang pinaniwalaan ng Court of Appeals ngayon is yung bata. Kasi ang bata, yung bata nagsasabi ng totoo. Alam naman natin na ang bata, hindi marunong magsinungaling. So, ang nagkaroon ng credibility yung witness sa Court of Appeals kasi yung sinabi ng bata na pangyayari at yung nakita niya is truthful at wala siyang sinasabi na kamalian. Ang nangyari doon is pinaniwalaan ng Court of Appeals yung bata kung ano yung sinabi niya na nakita niya is credibility. Tapos nalagay nga doon na considering the suddenness of attack and the dreadful scene unfolding before his eyes and his imperfection of human memory. So yun nga nakalagay doon. Human memory. Nangyari doon, yung mga bata kasi matandain. Kung ano yung nakita nila, yun yung sasabihin nila kung tinanong sila ng mga police or ng Court of Appeals.
Tawag dito, dahil sa nangyaring to, yung mga sinabi ng mga matatandang witness, mas hindi pinaniwala ng korte, mas matibay yung sinasabi ng bata na mas makatotohanan kaysa sa mga sinasabi ng mga matatandang naging witness. Kumbaga, nagkaka-contradict yung mga sinabi ng matandang witness. Mas pinaniwalaan, mas matibay yung testimonial evidence nitong bata. Next.
Evident premeditation, abuse of as qualifying circumstance in the crime of murder. Murder is unlawful killing of a person which is not which is not parricide or infanticide. So yun nga yun, no? Hindi nangyari dito yung parricide na tinatawag na pagpatay dun sa tao. Tapos yung infanticide naman is hindi naman nangyari sa hindi siya pinatay ng tatay niya or nanay niya. Tinatawag na infanticide. Yung parricide naman is hindi siya pinatay nung magulang niya. Provided that any of the attendant circumstances enumerated in Article 248 of the Revised Penal Code is present, the trial court ruled that treachery is abuse superior strength. Were attendant the commission of the crime and that the prosecution is not established is qualifying circumstance of the premeditation. So, walang nangyayari na foul play. Parang sinasabi na pinatay siya ng magulang niya, pinatay siya ng kamag-anak niya. So, walang nangyayari. Ibig sabihin, dito sa ano na to, na ibig sabihin, ibang tao yung pumatay sa kanya, hindi dun sa loob ng bahay nila nanggaling yung pumatay dun sa kapatid ng bata.
Ang lumalabas pa, intentionally killed. Talagang intention na pumatay. Hindi siya yung nagdadalawang isip siya na patayin yung tao.
Abuse of superior strength is present whenever there is notorious inequality forces between the victim and the aggressor. Yun nga, sinasabi nga, no? Walang nangyaring foul play dun sa aggressor at sa victim. So, ang ibig sabihin ko, hindi sila ibig sabihin, kung ikaw kakilala nung pamilya na papasukan mo na bahay, hindi ka nila pagbabawalan pumasok. So, ibig sabihin, kakilala talaga nila yung pumatay doon sa babae. So, sabi nga dito, there is treachery when the offender commits of any crimes against the person. So, may tinatawag dito na treachery. Tawag ito, pagtataksil dun sa ano. Meron nga tayong doon sa kwento, di ba? Nakalagay doon na sinabi na kakilala ko siya. Kakilala ko yung tatay nung namatay. So, bakit ko papatayin yung anak niya? Ang nangyari dito, treachery. Ibig sabihin, pagsalungat dun sa persons na employing means, methods, or forms the extension of therefore, which tend directly with the offend party might make. The requisites of treachery are the persons employed of means. So, ibig sabihin, employed siya dun sa tao na yon. Or meron silang something na negosyo o ganun. Tapos, nalagay dito, the employment of means, method, or manner of execution which ensure the safety of the malfactor from defensive and retaliating acts of the part of the victim. So, anong nangyayari dito? Parang nagkaroon sila ng pagtatalo. Pagtatalo nung tatay nung pinatay. Tapos, ang nangyari, imbis na paghigantihan yung tatay na nagkaroon ng kaso sa kanila, ang pinaghigantihan nila ngayon, yung anak nung kumpare nila. So, meron tayo dito damages and civil liability. A close examination of the records reveals that the prosecution only submitted the following evidence to substantiate the claim of actual damages. So, ito yung mga damages na nangyari dun sa kaso nila. Una, provisional receipt dated October 29, 2002 issued by LA Funeral Pass. Ito yung sa Purinaria na nagkakalaga ng 5,000. Tapos meron silang official receipt dated October 21 issued by the Funeral Pass. Tapos meron na naman pangalawang araw na bali nung una to 5,000 pesos. Provisional receipt dated October 28, 2002 issued by the Funeral Pass, again 19,000 pesos. Exhibit D-2, handwritten receipt dated October 28 issued by the Pafaiso Memorial Park. Ito na yung ililibing na yung bangkay. So 48,000 pesos. So, ang total damages ng civil and liability is 77,000 pesos.
Wherefore, the decision of Court of Appeals in CAGR CRHC number 04311 is hereby affirmed with modification. Accused appellant Apolonio Totong Avila found guilty beyond reasonable doubt of murder and sentenced to suffer the penalty of reclusion perpetua without eligibility for parole and ordered to pay the heirs of John Joy Vasquez the amount of 100,000 as civil indemnity, 100,000 as moral damage, and 100,000 as exemplary damage, and 77,000 as actual damage. All monetary award for damage shall earn interest at the legal rate of 6% per annum from the date of finality of this judgment until fully paid.
So ngayon, sinasabi dito is ang damage ni Totong Avila is 100,777,000. Tapos meron pa siyang 6% annual simula nung pagkamatay ni John Joy. Tapos ano na pa dito? Hanggat di nababayaran ni Totong Avila yung damage na meron pa siyang reclusion perpetua na kinakaharap.
Bill number 22-14-28, February 13, 2019, People of the Philippines, Plainfield Appellee, Renato Galuga, was as accused appellant. Decision. Challenging this appeal is the decision date June 9, 2015 of the Court of Appeals in CAGR CRHC number 05592, which affirmed with modification the decision date November 15, 2011 of the Regional Trial Court or RTC Branch 19 of Kauayan, Isabela, in criminal case number 1972, finding accused appellant Renato Galuga guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the crime of rape committed by against AAA. Facts of the case. Or about 16 April 2002, in the municipality of XXX, province of Isabela, Philippines, and within the jurisdiction of his honorable court, the said accused by means of force and intimidation and with lewd design did then and there willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously lay with and have carnal knowledge of a minor girl of 12 years old of age, thereby subjecting her to exploitation and sexual abuse against her will and consent. With the aggravating circumstances that the victims is a minor below 18 years old of age during the commission of the crime.
Next.
Version of the prosecution. In the evening of April 16, after the alter action with her father, 12-year-old left Moon went to the barangay hall, barangay San Mateo, Isabela after 10 minutes to flee to the park, sat beside the fountain, and that cried about 30 minutes. Accused appellant approached and introduced himself as Junjun. So, nangyari dito is nagpakilala yung tao na Junjun. Bata refused his invitation for them to go to the plaza. He then invited the park to place bet. Again, the latter refused, accused appellant the forcibly pulled forward to the marketplace and tried to free herself. Appellant's grabs, but he should unable to speak. So, anong nangyari na dito is, pinilit ni Junjun. Pinilit yung bata na pumunta dun sa plaza. Tapos, walang ano-ano, is pinilit yung hinatak na dun sa plaza. Tapos, anong nangyari doon at the time, there were about the 12 people nearby, but yung bata, hindi siya umiyak, kundi nag-ano na lang, tumahimik na lang. Kasi nga, tinakot siya ni Junjun na papatayin siya.
Next.
Accused appellant managed to pull towards the parlor in the marketplace. So, anong nangyari nga nun? Pinunta sa parlor yung bata. 12-year-old. Pinunta siya nun, tapos pinagbabantan siya na papatayin siya. The parlor was already closed at no lights. Accused appellant removed his clothes. But accused on the ground started removing shorts and shirt. Tapos, he tried to resist. Nangyari dito, hinuhubaran na nung accused. Hinuhubaran na siya. So, ayaw nung bata kasi hindi niya alam yung ginagawa ni Junjun sa kanya. So, anong nangyari nito? Yung bata is try to resist, but the accused appellant threatened her to kill a knife with protruding on his bag. After removing A's clothes, accused appellant went on the top. He inserted his penis into her vagina. So, eto na nga nangyari. Ang ginawa ni Junjun sa kanya, tinutukan niya ng kutsilyo yung bata. Parang nang pumayag na rapin. So, yung bata, wala na nagawa. So, accused appellant went on the top and inserted his penis. So, ipinasok mo yung dun sa maselang bahagi nung bata, yung penis niya. So, yung sinubukan niyang itulak. Kaso nga lang, meron nakatutok sa kanya na patalim. So, wala siyang nagawa, kundi umiyak na lamang.
Yung habang nasa insidente, nakita ni Borja na habang siya nag-drive lang sa tricycle at yung kanyang sakay na si Gariltos na nakita nila yung akusado na hinihila yung biktima papunta sa marketplace o sa palengke. Ngayon, sinabihan nila agad yung tatay nito na nakita nila yung anak niya nakasama ng akusado. At tinuro nila ngayon kung saan nila nakita yung bata at nakita nila ngayon nakita nila biktima pati yung akusado na nakaupo sa isang upuan sa may malapit sa pinangyarihan ng krimen. Doon nila naabutan at doon nila at kinausap nila ngayon ng akusado at ang tatay pati yung dalawang witness, dinala ngayon nila tong akusado sa presinto. Ngayon, when AAA Mothers BBB arrived at the police station, she asked AAA what happened, but she did not respond. Ngayon, yung biktima, dumating yung kanyang nanay, hindi ito nagre-respond, hindi ito nagsasalita kung ano nangyari sa kanya. Pero nagsalita na lamang tong biktima, nung lumapit na sa kanya yung babaeng pulis, at doon niya sinabi ang nangyari, at sinabi niya nga na nirate siya nung akusado.
Version of defense. According to the evidence for the defense, accused appellant was on his way home from work on April 16, 2002, when he saw A crying beside a fountain at the public park. Accused appellant asked A to come with him to N's restaurant, which was just across the fountain. She agreed and went with him. She then asked him to buy bread because she was hungry. However, after a few minutes, A's father and his two companions arrived and suddenly boxed accused appellant. Thereafter, accused appellant was brought to the municipal police station. Acosta and Santos both testified that many people go to the park at night since there are several mini stores and eateries in the area. So dito naman sa version of the defense, noong April 16, 2002, yung accused appellant, pauwi na siya, galing trabaho niya. Nang makita niya si A na umiiyak malapit sa may fountain sa public park. So, tinanong nung accused appellant si A kung pwede ba siyang sumama sa restaurant na malapit lang sa may fountain. Umagree naman si A. So, nagpabili pa nga si A ng tinapay daw. However, yun na nga, makalipas ang ilang minuto, nakita ng ama ng biktima at ng dalawang kasama nito, si A nakasama yung akusado. So, agad na kinorner ito at dinala ito sa municipal police station. Tapos, Acosta and Santos, tinestify nila na tuwing gabi, marami talagang pumupuntang tao sa park na yon kasi maraming mini stores at kainan sa lugar na yon. RTC.
So, ruling of the Regional Trial Court, the RTC found that A testified in open court in the straightforward and unequivocable manner and positively identified the accused appellant as the one who raped her. A is also willingly pursued the case for the 3 years just to finish her testimony in court. Despite the length of delay, the proceeding caused by the defense, the trial court gave greater weight to A's testimony as no woman would willingly undergo public trial along with the shame, humiliation, dishonor, exposing her own degradation. The fact the doctor who allegedly examined her failed to testify in court did not destroy the prosecution's case against the accused appellant. So, anong nangyari dito sa Regional Trial Court? So, nagkaroon nga sila ng kumuha pa sila ng doktor. Tapos, nag-fail yung doktor na i-testify. Tapos, sino ba naman ang 12-year-old na bata na papayag na ibaba ang short niya at makipag-sex sa isang tao na hindi niya kakilala. So, yun nga, yung regional trial court is pinaniwalaan yung sinabi ng bata. Kasi hindi nagsisinungaling ang mga bata katulad nung sa unang case natin. So, ang nangyari doon, moreover, the RTC adjudged the accused appellant's denial in his self-serving assertion could not overcome his affirmative, categorical, and convincing testimony. Also, accused appellant did not deny the fact that he was with A during the incident with Maid. The testimonies of defense witness Acostas, Santos, and inconsequential. So, yun nga. Anong nangyari nito? Mismo yung batang nagsabi na kasama niya yung si Junjun dun sa mga oras na nangyari yung pang-rape na ina-accuse sa kanya.
The value of the RTC judgment reads, wherefore, judgment is hereby rendered finding the accused Renato Galuga guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the crime rape and hereby sentence him to suffer the penalty of reclusion perpetua without eligibility for parole and to pay compliant AAA the amount of 75,000 as moral damage and 75,000 as civil indemnity and 25,000 as exemplary damage.
Ruling of the Court of Appeals. It a sales decision. The Court of Appeals denied accused appellant's appeal. According to the appellate court, a straightforward testimony satisfactorily established the elements of rape. A testified that the accused appellant had carnal knowledge of her by forcibly laying her down on the floor, inserting his penis into her vagina, and threatening to kill her if she made a sound. That she tried to push accused appellant away but did not succeed. A's positive testimony thus prevailed over accused appellant's plain denial. Dito naman sa ruling of the Court of Appeals, tinanggihan ng CA ang apela ng akusado. Ayon sa korte, yung straightforward na testimony ng biktima ay nag-establish ng rape. Pinatunayan ni A na may carnal knowledge nga yung akusado sa pamamagitan ng sapilitang pagbaba sa kanya sa dahig, pagpasok ng kanyang ari, pagbabanta na papatayin siya kung mag-iingay ito. Yung biktima, sinubukan din niyang itulak ito palayo, kaso hindi siya nagtagumpay. The Court of Appeals ultimately affirmed with modification the RTC decision dated November 15, 2011 as follows. Accordingly, the appeal is denied. The sale decision dated November 2011 is affirmed with modification. The awards of moral damages and civil indemnity are reduced from 75,000 to 50,000 each. The award of exemplary damages is increased from 25,000 to 30,000 pesos.
Error of Regional Trial Court and the Court of Appeals. The trial court gravely erred in convincing the accused appellant of the crime charged, although his guilt has not been proven beyond reasonable doubt. Kumbaga sabi nga, na isa sa mga problema pa rin na wala pa rin matibay na nag-aakusa o nagtuturo sa akusado na talagang guilty talaga siya sa crime na ginawa niya. Dahil kulang pa rin talaga sa mismong ebidensya na magtuturo sa akusado. The trial court gravely erred in giving full credence to the testimonies of the prosecution witness despite the patient inconsistencies. Accused appellant claimed that the RTC gravely erred in giving credence to AAA testimony despite numerous inconsistencies and contradiction in her testimony. He points out that the complainant claimed that there are a number of people in the park who saw them together at the time of the incident. Even the prosecution witness Borja and Carlitos narrated that they merely saw accused appellant with AAA at the park. He additionally highlighted AAA failure to immediately inform her parents that she was raped by the accused. Kasi sabi rito na marami mga error na ginawa sa RTC lalo na sa statement ng mga witness ng prosecutor o ng prosecution na si Borja pati si Carlito na nakita nila si AAA at yung accused appellant at the park. At yung sinasabi rin nila na si AAA ay di agad nagsabi sa kanyang mga magulang na siya'y ni-rape ng akusado.
The RTC found and the Court of Appeals affirmed that his testimony was straightforward, convincing, and consistent. Indeed, AAA described vividly how accused appellant deflowered her, and we cannot imagine how a child as young in years as AAA could directly and consistently recount in open court such an ordeal, unless she, in fact, had experienced the same. Between accused appellant's plain denial and AAA's categorical testimony, we give weight to the latter, especially because accused appellant admitted that he was actually found together with AAA in front of N's restaurant by AAA's father and prosecution witnesses Borja and Galintos. So dito naman, the RTC found and the Court of Appeals affirm the testimony ni Aya na yung testimony ni AAA ay straightforward, kapanipaniwala at consistent. Malinaw na inilarawan ng bata na kung paano siya dineflowered nung akusado. At paano maiisip ng isang bata na idirektang isalaysay sa korte ang ganong insidente maliban kung ito ay nangyari talaga sa kanya. So, binigyan ng CA ng weight yung akusado dahil na rin sa pag-amin nito at nakitang magkasama naman yung biktima sa harapan ng N's restaurant.
Since accused appellant is guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the crime of rape, we affirm the imposition by the RTC and the Court of Appeals of the penalty of reclusion perpetua, Article 266B of the Revised Penal Code. However, in line with recent jurisprudence, we increase the award of civil indemnity, moral damage, and exemplary damage to 75,000 each. In addition, we imposed interest at rate of 6% per annum on all monetary award from date penalty of decision until fully paid. As final matter, the pending incident in the case accused appellant letter date March 20, 2017, which was received by the court on March 25, 2017, in which he pleads for the withdrawal of his appeal, asserting that he is eligible for parole and probation. Ngayon, yung akusado, habang nangyayari itong decision na to na pinaproseso itong appeal niya, bigla itong nagba-back out. Pinapabasura niya ngayon itong kanyang appeal para makapasa siya sa mabibigyan ng parol pati probation. Pero kasi nga, di ba nga, ang atol sa kanya is reclusion perpetua, hindi pa rin siya makakapag-appeal o makakabil ng mga sinasabi nilang probation at parol. At ang ginawa ng Court of Appeals ay binasura niya ngayon yung pagbabasura na itong akusado sa kanyang reklamo. Accused appellant likely disqualified from applying for probation as Section 9 of the probation law is clearly that the benefits of probation shall not extend to those sentenced to serve maximum term of imprisonment more than 6 years. Kumbaga, di pa rin siya papasa sa probation dahil di ba kasi sabi nga na ang mga katanggap lamang ng probation ay ang mga nahatulan ng 6 years pababa. Ngunit siya ay reclusion perpetua, 20 years to life ang kanyang pagkakabilanggo. Kahit anong klaseng ibigay na pamala na probation, parol, di siya pwedeng mag-accept. At isa pa, nagpapatunay lang dito na yung kaso ay totoong ginawa niya. Next.
Wherefore, we hereby resolve to A. Dismiss the instant appeal and to affirm with modification the decision dated June 9, 2015 of the Court of Appeals in CRHC number 05592 as to the monetary awards by ordering accused appellant Renato Galuga E. Wad-As to pay the private complainant AAA the amounts of 75,000 as civil indemnity, 75,000 pesos as moral damages, and 75,000 pesos as exemplary damages, and imposing interest of 6% per annum on all monetary awards from date of finality of this decision until fully paid. And B. Deny the plea of accused appellant Renato Galuga E. Wad-As to withdraw his appeal.
Di ba nga sabi nga din kanina na talagang di nila papayagan na i-withdraw ng akusado yung kanyang appeal kasi nagpapatunay lamang to na totoo yung nangyari at isa pa. Hindi siya pwedeng kasi pag sinabi mo pag nag-appeal ka kasi sa Court of Appeals at Supreme Court, ibig sabihin hindi ka na rin talaga pasado na maging yung pumasok ka sa requirements ng makakatanggap ng probation at pati parol. Yun lang. Salamat po sa araw na ito sa aming report. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng nakinig.
Thank you po.